Going live. This hangout is live now, Brendan. Welcome, everybody. If you're tuning in, we are getting ready to start Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49, where we're going to talk about
the Shawshank Redemption.
Yes. So we are doing our last minute preparations here. You know what I want to do? I want to check my just bandwidth usage. Okay, that's where I want to be on there. Voice. Okay. So yeah, last week, Brendan, when you were remote, everything was just goofed up. Even I had to delete the whole video off of YouTube and everything. Everything was bad.
Oh man.
So it's much better that you're here live.
Oh yeah, it feels
and
better
alive. So are you almost ready to start?
I don't know if I'm just gonna have a news story today.
Well,
because nothing. I mean, I'm gonna have the at home.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay, that's fine.
That's all I have.
Yeah,
and then the rundown. We'll have some Zoolander sequel.
Oh, bro.
We'll be talking about some Zoolander. But I mean that's all there is really. That
Hey, no problem.
Okay,
no problem at all. So,
all right.
I
So
will start off with the Star Wars rundown.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, this guy. Let me make sure I have this volume the way that I want it on the iPad. I need it -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That is going. So do you want to tweet and Facebook and all that stuff to all the humans?
Twitter lady.
We'll do that. I wonder if I'm supposed to keep this open. Well, I better not risk it.
Better not risk it.
Better not
biscuit.
Risk it, biscuit. Better not risk it, biscuit.
Doom, doom, doom.
Okay. Let me buffer.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheek, 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 talk a lot, take a little more.
It's stuff like this.
Oh,
it gets
guess
some
what
trust
I have?
issues.
Finally.
What is that for?
That's for the you're right. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've been doing it via mouth for 40
for
40
so long.
48 episodes.
Oh, buddy.
What happened?
Exodus Gods and Kings comes out next Tuesday.
Along
with the Penguins of Madagascar.
Well, there you go. Okay, why isn't my buffering as we are getting ready?
Yeah, cut to it!
That's exactly why.
Come on, buffer.
Babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
And there we go. Wow. Okay, here we go. We are live in the studio for Christ in Cinema. Discussing Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. Nice. Live. Hmm. Okay. And there we go. There we go. I don't want to add it to the queue. I want to share now. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna try Mixler today as well. See what happens there. Oh my goodness. I don't understand why Google Sheets is using up so much RAM on my computer. It's a bloody spreadsheet. Why would it need? Well, earlier it ran up like to a whole gigabyte of RAM. That's nuts.
Ooh.
That's not acceptable. And that's in all browsers on this Mac. So, okay. And now we are live on Mixler as well. So if you are joining us on our Mixler stream, or you're on the gctnetwork.com/live page, on that page right now, there is a Mixler player for just audio. And then we also have our YouTube player embedded in there for video. So pick whichever one you want, depending on the circumstance you find yourself in. But either way, below both of those players is our chat room. You can join us in there and interact with us as we do the show. We are getting ready to start Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49, finding Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. You folks that are listening on Mixler, whether you are live or listening after the fact on there, you're only going to get about another 59 minutes and 7 seconds of this, because we get one free hour, and so far I haven't been able to justify paying $10 a month to get to bump that up to 3 hours of broadcast time.
That's where you come in.
Well, now exactly. That's where you come in at gctnetwork.com/donate. But now technically I could immediately restart the recording or the broadcasting once the hour is up, but while we're doing the show, ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
So,
Ain't nobody got time for it.
So we are just in the last minute or so here of pre-show prep. Then we shall get going. Let's double check that. Okay, there we go. So you let me know when you're ready.
Let me check my ducks.
Ducks.
What do we want to do after next week?
What do you want to do? Hunger Games or what?
I was about to say I don't want to do Hunger Games.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Well, no, I mean, I want to do it before part 2 comes out. When does part 2 come out?
I don't know.
Okay.
What else is on our oh, we covered all the stuff on our. Okay.
I don't know if I want to do Hunger Games so soon.
All right.
But then again, with it being freshly released.
Well, that's whoops.
Oh,
well, that's the benefit there, is that it's on everybody's mind. The Hobbit is coming out right quick, but it's not actually out yet. So, and I don't remember. I just saw the date the other day. I think it's at the end of the month. So.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Or Barad-dûr.
Or a lot of them, really.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Let's just go ahead and do Hunger Games.
Well, no, not if you're gonna be disgusted about it.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I don't want you to
disgusted
be
about it.
sad.
I just no. I'll be fine. I just want to see if there's anything.
I watched part 2 the other day because I'd only seen it one time. The second Hunger Games.
Oh, I
event.
thought you were about to say Mockingjay
Catching
Part
Fire.
2.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Catching Fire.
Catching Fire.
I love
Okay.
that movie.
Yeah,
Man.
Catching Fire was really cool.
That was a great movie. Should we decide this after the show or what?
Yeah, let's mull it over.
Okay, we'll mull
Okay.
it over. No problem.
We'll put it on the back burners of the stoves of our brains.
So we'll tell everybody that we haven't picked a movie yet, but
Yeah.
there's still next week so it doesn't matter. We don't have to have one picked today.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. You let me know when you're ready. Otherwise,
I am ready. Otherwise,
I am ready. And we'll go ahead and start recording on the recorder there. Sip O. And we will clap in. Hey, come on in. Admission is free. Grab a bowl of popcorn, extra butter, of course. Find a seat smack dab in the middle. It's time for Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49. I'm Michael.
and I'm Brendan.
Join us, and together we'll dig deeper into the silver screen classics of yesteryear as well as the box office hits of today. We'll take a closer look at the stories they tell and see if we find the face of Jesus looking back. We're going to explore the deeper meanings of these films, their plots and their twists, the characters and their choices, and how we can relate them to the gospel of salvation and ultimately our Christian walk. You are tuned in to Finding Christ in Cinema on the GCT network. Oh, I forgot that I put that there. Let's do it again. Stop. Okay, we can't do that. I got to switch those around.
Oh man, I was about to say. Oh, wait, are we recording on the pro cam? Over
Yeah,
there?
we are.
Okay.
This is Jake too. Yeah, I can't. There we go.
That was so funny.
No, that's not funny.
Yes, it was. All right, here we go. Take two.
I switched things around when I was adding the, because we're running out of room here. You know what? That needs to turn down a little bit.
Yeah, we need a bigger sound cart.
Okay, let's see here.
It's like we go to the Piggly Wiggly. We have the small cart. We need the big cart.
Yeah, let me check the volume. Still too loud. Let me turn that down just a little bit more. That was at 75. We'll just go ahead and take it down to 65 and see what happens. My goodness, that is a loud ding. Take it down to 55 and see what happens. That's where I want it. All right. Let's start a new recording. All right, here we go. Hey, come on in. Admission is free. Grab a bowl of popcorn, extra butter, of course, and find a seat smack dab in the middle. It's time for Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49. I'm Michael.
And I'm Brendan.
Join us, and together we'll dig deeper into the silver screen classics of yesteryear as well as the box office hits of today. We'll What voice is that?
I can't tell you until we get to the episode.
I don't know if I can do it.
I'm actually realizing that the more we do it, the less I sound like it. So
I'm reading this thing and I'm thinking, who in the world?
okay,
no more fun.
okay, let's just do it again.
Yeah, this is just
And
Well-mannered frivolity.
wait. Can we restart pizza real quick?
oh yeah.
While we're at this breaking
Oh
point.
my goodness. Okay, here we go.
I'll tell you. Hold on. I'll tell you who it is when we get there.
Okay, I figured you would.
Because
My goodness.
that's the way we do things.
Run stopwatch. There we go. Here we go. Hey, Hey, come on in. Admission is free. Grab a bowl of popcorn, extra butter, of course, and find a seat smack dab in the middle. It's time for Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49. I'm Michael.
And I'm Brendan.
Join us, and together we'll dig deeper into the silver screen classics of yesteryear, as well as the box office hits of today. We'll take a closer look at the stories they tell and see if we find the face of Jesus looking back. We're going to explore the deeper meanings of these films, their plots and their twists, the characters and their choices, and how we can relate them to the gospel of salvation and ultimately our Christian walk. You're tuned into Finding Christ in Cinema on the GCT network.
This is your Great Commission transmission.
Okay, so this is a different take. I am saving that last one, and that's going to get tacked on to the end of the show. I don't even know what that voice was. What were you doing?
In light of today's episode, I was trying to do my best impression of Morgan Freeman.
Friends, unless something terrible happens and I forget to actually tack it on. See, but a lot of people may not realize, Brendan, that every once in a while we'll sneak a little outtake to the very end of the show because I want people to stick around for the whole entire thing.
And today's will be a gem.
You never know when there will be something there waiting for you at the tail end.
I think I just realized that I can only say his name like Morgan Freeman says his name. Anything else I do does not sound like Morgan Freeman.
Oh my good! Nobody sounds like Morgan Freeman, and in fact, that's why he got chosen for this role. The role of Red is supposed to be an Irishman. That's in the character in the book, in the short story.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And that changes my whole perception.
Huh.
I can't imagine Red being anybody else.
Exactly, and that's what the director was saying when he's I think he wrote and directed or did the screenplay, right? Because this is based on a short story by Stephen King called Rita Hayworth
and the Shawshank Redemption. Yeah.
And so anyway, so they left that line in there when he says, so by the way, why did they call you Red? He says, because I'm Irish. Yeah, so, hey, we've jumped way ahead in the show. Okay, show's over.
All right, guys.
No, Brendan, last week was a fiasco. We were discussing one of my very favorite films that we've done so far as far as sharing the gospel. We covered The Giver.
Yeah.
But because of the weather, it was terrible last week with all that ice. You couldn't make it into the studio.
Oh, no.
And so we have never tried it before because Brendan has always made it to the studio. We've always known that we had the option of doing it. Well, we could do it via Skype or Google Hangouts. Well, Brendan uses a Chromebook computer, so Skype is not an option, only Hangouts. And we just had a terrible time last week trying to do the show. Now, my wife reassures me and says, I listened to the show. It sounded great. She said, yeah, I could hear a slight echo and whatnot. And there was goof ups, but you guys, recovered and handled it very well. And all those flattering things that a wife should say.
That an encouraging wife should say.
Yeah, says she is my Paracletes.
Yeah.
So
you play soccer with her.
But you're here now. What's been going on in the last week?
Oh man. Well, really, the biggest thing right now is that I'm getting ready for my directorial debut.
What? So the in other words,
at the fly,
right?
At the fly, that
is that what you've been working on? The play that you've been working on?
Well,
or are you talking about a new project?
This is a new project.
What?
This is something. And now for something completely different.
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto.
This will be a theater project more than it will be an actual play.
Tell us more.
This will be called the Young Adult Workshop Players Theater Festival.
I like it. What's the acronym?
Otherwise abbreviated as YALP Fest.
Oh, are you Professor Keating?
Well, we're gonna find out.
Wow.
And basically what it's going to be a devised production. Whoever shows up at the meeting next Monday night, hopefully juniors and seniors in high school, or students in the first 4 years of college, or really anybody within that age range. Young, like I said, young adults. We're going to be devising a show centered around a theme, Haven't decided the theme yet. I have my suggestion, but I'm going to toss it to them first and see if they like it. So I'll let you know how that goes. But we're going to craft the show around this theme, and it's going to have short little scenes, going to have monologues, going to have musical interludes, basically like a guided variety show.
Wow.
So we're going to see how that goes.
So is this going to be a one night performance or?
It'll be a 3. Well, here's my dilemma, Michael.
Yes.
The weekend that we've selected, it's the debut would be the Thursday night. And we have to do Thursday because that Friday there was already booked an event at the Fly. There was an event already booked there. So we're opening that Thursday, and then we'll have another performance that Saturday. Now here's my dilemma.
Okay.
That Sunday, May 3rd, a certain Christian hip hop artist named Lecrae has a concert in Knoxville.
Ah.
And I've been invited to go to that concert.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to throw it to the kids. I'm going to say, guys, if you want a Sunday performance, I will be there, and we will do the Sunday performance.
Throw it to them while somebody's beatboxing next to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I will drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
And if they want the Sunday thing, we will do it. If not, I'm going to go see Lecrae. So
you can sing right along with them.
Yes, I got like 90% of the memory of
something
the
about
album.
Clocks.
Yeah, the timepiece is the name of the song, Michael.
Wow.
So that's the biggest thing I got coming up in the next few days.
Exciting.
Ooh. Oh yeah, very exciting.
A lot of exciting stuff. Hey, this past weekend was Sacred Assembly.
Yes.
And Brendan, I got up, I packed up all of my stuff. I had tripods and monopods and digital recorders and cameras and my bag, and I went ahead and charged up the video camera, the official GCTN video camera, and left it on the charger.
Oh
man.
No.
So we get there. Again, I don't know why, but this winter has been bad for sickness, especially in our family. And so we had a couple of kids that were out. I was under the weather. Then 2 of the other kids were under the weather. So anyway, 4 of us made it to the square. And there was approximately, they think, about 1,000 or 1,200 people there.
Wow.
Well, the population of Manchester is 10,000. So you're talking a tenth. That's awesome.
That's a tithing of Manchester.
That's a remnant.
Ooh.
And it was awesome, man. And we get there, and there's the praise team from Canvas Community Church up the road was going, and we're right off the bat, because we had visited there a couple of times. We were comfortable with that, like that a lot. And then some great prayers that, knock your socks off, bring tears to your eyes, repentance,
right.
prayers, and praise, proclamation, repentance, petitioning the Lord. It was amazing. And I got some good audio sounds, recording that. I was walking through the crowd, and you listen to it, it's all nice and stereophonic and big, and you hear praying. Oh, and they had a guy up in the bell tower blowing the shofar, the horn. Oh man, which would I think I might be able to play it at the beginning of the next episode, our Jubilee episode, which
that would be appropriate.
Ties in really nicely. But anyway, so I listened to the audio afterwards, because I figured, well, at the very least I could play some audio on the show of it. But the audio, it sounds like any other event that you've ever been to, so nothing,
Oh, gotcha.
I wanted to put together a video. It would have been, I had my lapel mic. Oh yeah, I could do interviews, everything. Leave the camera at home. No good. You know what I got for that? All right, what else have you been doing?
Well, my Monday movie review this week is on the Sunset Limited.
I have no idea what it is. I didn't have time to read that review today, but
well, let me set it up for
elucidate me.
Okay. If you like watching 2 men sit in a room for 2 hours,
it's what we do,
discussing
so anybody that's watching this video,
discussing God, discussing faith, discussing being or not being your brother's keeper, you're gonna like Sunset Limited. The difference, now you said like this is what we do. Well, the difference is in this movie, there are 2 characters. One,
We're two characters.
one is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh.
The other is Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh.
Jackson, he's a Christian. Tommy Lee Jones, he's an atheist.
What? What is
This okay, here's the thing. This is based on this is an adaptation of a play written by Cormac McCarthy, who also wrote, let's see, wait for it. Who also wrote The Road, which turned into which was a movie with Viggo Mortensen. He wrote No Country for Old Men. He wrote that. So this guy,
dark.
yeah, and that's what this production is. It's it goes into all this philosophical stuff and how let's say the best way to put it, how these two guys have basically lived their lives with the Christian or atheist mindset. What brings them together is that Tommy Lee Jones's character attempts to commit suicide, and Samuel L. Jackson saves him. Samuel L. Jackson brings him to his apartment, and from that moment, the movie starts.
Wow.
It's very interesting. It's very thought-provoking, very insightful. The only thing is, like I said, it is just them two sitting in the apartment.
I like it.
And if that's not your style, then it's going to be like a cinematic snooze.
No, this is a cerebral.
Yeah, it's very it's very cerebral.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Okay, you piqued my curiosity. What, Netflix, Amazon Instant, Prime Instant? Where can I get this?
I'm sure it is. It was released in 2011 on HBO Films. Tommy Lee Jones actually directed it himself too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I just rented it from the local movie rental place. So
there you go. I'm putting that on my own very personal list. So
now you can't do that to any other list except for our list.
But they're connected because I'm co-creator of the list, right?
But that doesn't make sense.
I give you permission to do it.
Whatever.
Okay, you know what? I've had a very easy life, Brendan. With all the trials and bad things that I have gone through in life, when it comes down to it, I've had an easy life that God has blessed me with, and I have never lost, as an adult, anybody close to me. My parents are healthy, my siblings are healthy, my spouse is healthy, my children are healthy. Nothing has befallen us. 10 years ago, God blessed my family with a golden retriever by the name of Jackson. That's who we named. In fact, I named him myself after, the song that Johnny and June Carter Cash made famous, Jackson. Okay, it's not their song, but they made it famous. Theirs is the best version. And he was the. I know everybody thinks this about their dogs, but see, we have empirical evidence because other people who are dog owners say this about Jackson as well. He's the best dog. People at my wife's work, she's a veterinary technician, other vets and stuff, look and say, your dog is better than my dog. Okay. And just shy of 10 years old, we had to send him home, over the Rainbow Bridge, as they say. And he was getting sick. He had cancer, and about 6 months ago, he underwent a surgery that they say at best the surgery will give you another 6 months of time with your dog. Golden retrievers are susceptible to this particular illness, and Jackson got every minute of that 6 months, and it was quality time. Just these past, because when he crashed, he went down fast, Brennan, because in the snows that we've had, he loves snow. He loves to eat it, loves to prance around it, and he just had a blast when it was snow. And so the day that he passed, Shelley left him home, and I was with him, and that's when he really crashed, and she had to come, and he wouldn't even get up anymore, and she got a blanket and here, help me get him on the blanket. We carried him out to the car, and he would lift up his head. That's the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh man.
And so we all gathered around and told him we loved him and kissed him, and it's just heartbreaking, but I went in immediately and prayed to God and thanked him for the time that
you had.
with
Yeah.
them, and nothing but good memories. And then in that time also it brought to remembrance people that I know personally that have lost sons and daughters and things, and I was able to offer them up in prayer.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's the passing of Jackson, the greatest dog ever. Okay, pick us up. Pick us up.
Man,
Yeah.
Michael, dang it. You got me thinking about when my dog, I had, just really quick,
Yeah.
I had 2 dachshunds growing up.
Oh, I love dachshunds.
They were brothers,
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie.
Oh.
And Bert was the black-haired dachshund, Ernie was the red-haired dachshund. Dachshund, I can't even say it. Wiener dog. There we go. And Bert went first.
Yeah.
His back went out.
Oh,
as dachshunds are prone to do.
Yes.
His back went out, and he went quietly. We always kept him in the sunroom, and one day we found him. I know, and then it was a couple months later, really, when Ernie went too, and Ernie actually found a way out of the sunroom and wandered off to the one tree in our backyard.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was a powerful moment.
On the website, on the main website, gctnetwork.com, if you look under the videos for Between You and Me, I did do a video called Why Do the Good Pets Die Young?
Yeah.
And my basic premise of that was that it's a gift from God, because we're told that it's better to be in the house of mourning, right? It's far better to mourn over, a dog, as hard as it is, than a child or a loved one. And
Right.
And I encourage everybody to get over to the website, look up that video and look it up. But okay, happy thoughts.
So last week I talked about a book that I just finished. I'll get in a second to the next book that I'm listening to, but just really quick. And I even noticed that patron St. Philip mentioned this in his comment feedback, which we'll get to later. But I watched the movie adaptation of Blue Light Jazz.
Oh, right. You've been talking about this.
Yes. Right now, I am a fan of Blue Light Jazz. I am gung-ho. I found a copy of the book for $6.
Are you an apologist for Blue
Well,
Light Jazz?
I mean, I don't know what I'm apologizing for. I didn't do anything wrong. Actually,
touche, sir.
See, and actually, I'm going to read this little.
An evangelist. He's a brand evangelist.
I'm going to read this quote.
Okay.
From Donald Miller himself. He wrote the book, and he actually helped along in the production of the movie. Let's see. I got it on my Facebook. I didn't think I'd read it, but I think I should, because it sets up something really nice.
Right. And you've been posting pictures, and then I think you got John Carney, FCC's very own John Carney, reanimated about this book as well,
because he's either leading or participating in a Blue Light Jazz study at his place,
at his church.
Yeah. Okay, so Donald Miller, on making the film adaptation for his book Blue Light Jazz, quote, "This movie is completely different. It's the first one I've seen that is a movie that is not ashamed to talk about issues of faith, and yet it's extremely real. The language that the kids speak at Reed College, and there's a lot of profanity, that's because that's what they
That's
speak
how they talk
at Reed College. There's a principal character that gets pregnant through an adulterous affair, because that's what really happens in real life. And people say you can't do that in a Christian movie. My only answer to that is that I get my writing model from the pages of the Bible.
Amen.
And what I love about the Bible is that it shows humanity the way humanity actually is. It doesn't hide anything. It doesn't pretend that people who love God are any different from the people who don't love God. It doesn't try to sell God in any way. It just shows the truth. And so what we're hoping with this movie is to show the truth, and maybe even change what is the creative culture that exists among Christians to no longer be salesmen, and instead be truth tellers, and let the cards fall where they may, end quote.
Who made that quote?
That is Donald Miller himself.
Well, Donald Miller steps up to the plate. Here comes the question. He swings. Boom! And that's over the wall. That's unbelievable, Brendan. What do you have any any comments on that quote?
I can't do anything except echo and just repeat what he says, because that, especially when he says maybe even change what is the creative culture that exists among Christians.
That's what we're proponents of here at Finding Christ in Cinema, at the GCT network as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a preacher that I really admire that has a saying. He says it even more succinctly: the Bible presents people warts and all.
Yes.
Warts and all. So if people say, if a critic says, oh well, you know, look at King David and what he did with Bathsheba and murdered, and God approves that? No, God doesn't approve that. He recorded it. This is what happened. This is David, warts and all. He's still a man after my own heart.
I was gonna say, this is David, a man after my own heart,
Warts and all.
sinning against me and
Huge.
doing exactly what I told him not to do.
Yeah, David broke every sin you possibly could. I mean,
The big oath?
performed. Yes.
You know, the big lumphead.
And so that's great. That is great. And too many Christians for too many years have hidden, and I'm susceptible to that, because Brendan, when we start talking about this film, I almost called you up or sent you a message early in the week saying we got to pick another movie, okay? Because this is, I mean, the Green Mile was foul, you know, the way, you know, I guess it's prison and jail movies. That I'm glad I've never been to jail or prison. Yeah, knock on wood. Okay, what else about your book?
Book.
That's it? You're done with your reading, Brendan's reading minute?
Oh no! Okay. So you're saying now. That's me following up on Blue Light Jazz. But the next book that I'm reading, or listening to rather, is wait for it. It's going to sound completely new to you.
Okay.
You've never heard of it before.
All right.
It's called The Gospel of Jesus. I know, right?
Well, tell us more.
It is a compilation of the 4 synoptic gospels, edited by Daniel Johnson. I don't know who that is.
The guy who edited this.
But read by Garrison Keillor.
Okay, so now this book has been out for a while, right?
Right.
Do you know what? Okay. And so what they did was take the 4 synoptic, the 3 synoptic gospels, right? Why is it 4? There's only 3 synoptic gospels: Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Was John not synoptic?
No.
Ooh, I better change that.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, guys, my bad.
And then just cut it out. Put here, this goes here chronologically, and blah blah blah, blah, and then do it so like so, right?
Right. Yeah.
You started it.
I started. Yeah.
And what do you think?
I like it.
Okay.
It's. I mean, I will say, right now it just feels like a normal audio Bible, which is fine. I'm not complaining.
More on that later in the show.
Yeah. But this production in particular has Garrison Keillor reading it. Now, Michael, you know who that is, right?
Tell us.
He is the host of the long-running NPR. Well, I think it was in existence before NPR, but of the long-running NPR show, A Prairie Home Companion.
Yes.
He's that guy. This guy has, I think, the golden voice of America. You know, the ultimate heartland vocal cords. You know what I mean?
And a very distinctive cadence.
Yes.
And, yes.
He just and the way Daniel Johnson has kind of, I don't want to say edited the text, but presented it in a new style, and it sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it myself. Looking forward to hearing more about that. The Theonauts in Haiti.
Yeah,
they came back.
Yes,
they
in one piece.
Yes, they did. And
Jeremiah came back in one piece.
Did you listen to the Theonauts episode?
I listened to the first one. I didn't listen to the
mini-sode.
I didn't listen to the mini-sode.
I haven't had a chance to listen to the mini-sode either. There are 2 episodes, friends, that you can listen to of the Theonauts regarding their Haiti trip. And both those can be found at gctnetwork.com. More specifically /Theonauts, not just go to gctnetwork.com and you'll find them right there on the front page. The first show was one of their longer shows. Now, of course, when we were on their show, then we break all records as far as length goes. But and I'm glad that they used every single minute that they did. Just some exciting stories, pumped up. It was great to listen to Jeremiah tell his stories, and Kevin David's son.
Yeah.
Oh man, when he tells a story about, because he'd been there before, but he had never been to the orphanage. And when he comes around and David's like hanging back, all dad style. Yeah, watch what's gonna happen when he and some other young man walk in the gates or whatever, and they just get bum rushed by these orphan kids. And Kevin said, I've never felt a hug like that before in my life. And they just glom onto him and would not let go. And Jeremiah took down an old guitar that he didn't use much anymore, and he had intended to give it to one of those kids. Could you imagine?
And didn't he even pray
yes
to have the opportunity to give it away?
Lord, present to me the youngster that's getting this.
There you
and
go.
God did.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about it on next week's episode of Finding Christ in Cinema.
I will say there's only one time that I've been bum rushed by kids like that.
And
it almost turned into a dangerous situation because I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but kind of a bigger guy. And these kids were just piling on and they were about to bring me down.
Yeah.
So
everybody will go rolling all over the place.
One of the leaders had to come in and intercede for me. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, kids, he's falling down. He's losing his balance. Get away from him.
Oh man.
So I know how you feel, Kevin, but it's an awesome feeling.
And also you really realize why it's so important to God that we visit the orphans and the widows. Not just hi, but no, go and be with them and interact and like they were saying, these kids are hungry for affection and touch. And but anyway, you have to go and listen to the Theonauts talking about their trip in Haiti. Stay for the cake. Listen to all their other shows as well. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, Brendan, that was a long introduction update.
Well, because we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
I know we can't do it over Skype or whatever.
That was kind of.
We have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
You ready to go to the movies?
Hey, let's go to the movies.
All right.
By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back, one for each of your victims. So be it.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in 1947.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You can fit right in. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Damn it, you friend, you're putting me behind.
Hope can drive a man insane.
You better be sick or dead in there, I kid you not.
I'm better get used to that idea. Oh, my holy God.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
Get busy living, or get busy dying. That's damn right.
Brendan, like I said earlier, I almost called off this film. It's rough. I heard words in here that I've never heard before. That I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
But it is, again, it's taking place in a prison, and that's an ugly place to be, and that's where real human beings are. One of the many places that you can find real human beings.
Yeah.
And so the human condition, I was talking to my dad about this because he came over yesterday because I had to fix a toilet. Boy, that was fun. Anyway, we're talking about this.
That one in the update.
And he said, well, you know what? Here's what you did. Hey, we're not recommending that you go and watch this movie, but most of you have. It's a super popular movie. And most of your friends have. And so if they say, hey, would you like to watch Shawshank Redemption? Now you have something that you can actually, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna flip it. Well, hopefully by the time we're done here, right, we can flip it for good. So anyway, that's where we're at. I want to give a big fat disclaimer right here at the beginning. We do not condone the use of language and other things that are offensive, that are anti-Christian, that are opposed to Christianity.
Right.
We do not condone it at all. We're not saying that people should watch movies that people speak like this. However, just like that quote from the guy from Blue Like Jazz, it's real life. And the Bible's filled with real life, and you can't hide from real life. Not if you are going to be fulfilling the Great Commission, which is what we're all about here, right?
Right.
So let's talk about the film.
Well, no, just really quick. Could you say that we are redeeming the Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Back to the talk.
That's exactly what we're doing. I hadn't watched the movie in a long time, so I knew that I liked the movie. I didn't remember. I had pushed out of my memory all the filth and foul, and as Bill Cosby would say, filth and foul and foul and filth, and and so I was, at first I was shocked by that at first, because what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And then of course, as often happens, the first thing that pops into my head about a movie is the negative. And I don't want to point out the negative. I want to point out the positive, because It's a whole lot better to say point people to the light than it is to point them away from darkness. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. But then when it finally started clicking with me, I'm like, oh yeah. Now I remember why I like this movie, and we'll get into into
that in a little bit.
So what are your recollections? Because this movie, you were 4, almost 5 when this movie came out.
Yeah, I was 4, almost 5, and my parents took me to see it in the theaters, and I soaked it in.
Wow.
Just kidding. I did not. No, I was actually not allowed to see this movie, at least an unedited version.
Yeah.
So, growing up with that stigma, I didn't really have an interest in it as a grown up. And it wasn't until sometime last year when I actually caught the tail end of it on TV, and I thought, oh well, I can kind of see what people are talking about. It's a good movie, and I was actually discussing that with a friend, and he said, "What? You haven't seen the whole movie, Brendan? That is the most gospeling movie ever." And
Really?
I was like, really? You think we could do it on the show? And he's like, yes, you should put it on the show.
Okay, so who was this?
So this was Mr. Josh Compton.
Well, Josh Compton, thank you, sir, for adding this to the list.
See, that's the right kind of echo the show needs.
That's regal. Right there.
Yeah, that was
epic.
So yeah, this is the most gospeling movie ever. And after seeing it, now, Michael, last week you made a bold statement.
I want to do
a pretty bold statement.
Yes.
You said that The Giver was the best film with which to share the gospel. Michael, I'm going to say that The Shawshank Redemption is the best one.
You may be right. We will have to find out at the year-end episode when we do our countdown.
Yeah.
So, but why do you say that? Or is that just going to come out in your
that'll
your
come out in my
discussion
points?
Okay. Because we had such a long introduction, let's tighten up this initial discussion a little bit. We have some trivia that I wanted to share. Is that okay if I go into some of that right now?
As long as you don't mind me going into other trivia.
Oh no, absolutely.
Okay.
So well, whose is whose? We don't have our
you go ahead and then I'll.
All right.
Yeah.
So the role of Andy how do you say it? Dufresne?
Dufresne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andy Dufresne was originally offered. See, this is how FCC ties in, everything ties in, and it's just one big 6 degrees of separation kind of a situation.
Yeah.
It was originally offered to Tom Hanks, FCC's very own Tom Hanks, who will be making another appearance here really soon,
here shortly.
In fact, I guess we ought to bump up Forrest Gump closer to the top of the list as we
actually on the published list on the side, it's number 1.
Well,
but let me just say, disclaimer, the order of the list on the webpage is not the order in which that
No,
we covered.
absolutely
so,
not.
As you guys probably know that already.
Well, he couldn't accept the role due to scheduling conflicts with Forrest Gump.
Janae.
So Hanks did, however, work on Frank, was it Darabont's next film, The Green Mile, which we've already covered.
We've already
I
covered.
picked it as the number one best movie for sharing the gospel on last year's countdown. Another prison movie.
Yeah, I know. There's something about it, and again,
Some of the same actors.
Another Stephen King story.
Yes, yes.
So I think there's this somewhat relationship, friendship bond between Frank Darabont and Stephen King.
I also love to see filmmakers that use the same actors in different films, such as Shawshank Redemption. The lawyer that was the prosecutor against Andy Dufresne was one of the guards in The Green Mile.
Really, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that neat stuff like that.
Little neat stuff.
What else?
Well, a lot of critics have spotted many allegorical themes in this film, generally along the lines that Andy Dufresne is a latter-day Jesus Christ,
which is very interesting.
Very interesting, yes.
Because you can go into that direction. I chose not to, but I could see where somebody could say, loosely, allegorically, speaking.
Yeah. And Frank Darabont, the director and screenwriter himself, he refutes all such claims. Although he is delighted that so many people have read so much into the film.
Yeah. That's got to make a filmmaker happy.
Yeah.
When people are able to see, oh, wow. I mean, because that occupies them and also causes them to take ownership of their of that property and saying, what, this is my movie. Look what I found in here and stuff. I love this movie, and they want to tell everybody about it. And, that's the kind of things that you talk about with people at dinner and things like that. Okay, how about something funny? Okay, I found this a little bit funny.
This is ridiculous. But, well, I mean, I agree. It's funny.
It really is absurd.
It's absurd.
Quit thinking like me.
Sorry.
We're like an old married couple. Been doing this show for 49 episodes now.
How many shows we've been?
The American Humane Association monitored the filming of scenes involving Brooks's crow. During the scene where he fed it a maggot, the AHA objected on the grounds that it was cruel to the maggot and required that they use a maggot that had died from natural causes. One was found and the scene was filmed.
Isn't there something in Romans about worshiping the creation?
Hey, I'm an animal lover, and I would probably be considered by many people as being a little bit on the kooky side as far as animal loving goes. But that is, I'm sorry, you've gone too far.
Yes.
You have now tipped over into madness.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much mercury in your hat pins, because that's Mad Hatter style.
Man.
All right.
So anyway, okay. One last little trivia thing.
And this is a doozy.
This one's good though.
Yes.
And it's actually gonna lead into it's gonna lead into the point.
Well, there you go.
So after this,
here we are 38 minutes into the show. We're getting ready to roll.
I know, right? So when the warden flips through Andy's Bible after his escape, now this is the Bible that he snuck into the safe.
Yes.
That he hid behind that little that little
it was a doppelganger book because
it wasn't a ledger, it was an actual Bible,
right?
The same Bible, and this is what gets me, the same Bible that Andy, was it the same one he had been reading the whole time that the warden,
believe so,
he had given him?
Yeah.
And he says salvation lie within.
That's why the warden never opened it, because he knew this is the one I gave him, and no need for me to open it. I don't think he ever opened one in his life anyway.
Oh, anyway, so salvation lie within, and when the warden opens this book, he finds the cutout space where Andy's rock hammer, his little digging tool, was hidden.
Yeah.
Now the first page that it opens up to is the first page of the book of Exodus.
Oh!
Which, of course, tells the story of the Hebrew slaves escaping from Egypt. Exodus literally means to escape or depart.
That is some excellent symbology.
Yes, yes. And actually, that's going to jump right into the point. So, Michael, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Well, like I said, I think that this is one of the best. I don't want to say the best because I don't want to make it the ultimate superlative, but I will say this is one of the better movies that can help demonstrate how the gospel works.
All right.
Now, of course, beginning with that. Oh, go ahead.
Let me say something.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and play the first clip, but we'll give a disclaimer right before, because it's got some.
It's got some. It does have some choice language.
Yeah.
But the
a little
only
salty.
Okay, let me get to that in a second. Yeah, that's another good word, salty.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best films to explain how the gospel works, because it does show how people really are, and it shows the need that people have to be free from sin.
Amen.
The thing about being free from sin is that it's not always easy once you're first released.
Oh yes, I like that.
Okay. So the Shawshank.
So are you saying that it's not? I'm all in. I'm all in. I accept that Jesus is the Son of God and that He saves me from my sins, and that through Him I can have eternal life. And then it's an instant boom. Everything's roses and sunshine,
it's a cakewalk,
and your hair's all perfectly combed and stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoa.
Oh, hey. No, that's actually the opposite of what I'm saying, because that is the opposite of truth. That is not how it is once you've been freed from sin. So we can understand the Shawshank prison as the institution of sin. And I'm going to read a little passage from Romans 3. We all know Romans 3. And tell me if this describes life in prison at Shawshank or not.
Yes.
Starting in verse 9. Well then, should we conclude that the Jews are better than the others? No, not at all. For we have already shown that all people, whether Jews or Gentiles, are under the power of sin. As the scriptures say, and here's where this little description comes in. No one is righteous, not even one. No one is truly wise. No one is seeking God. All have turned away. All have become useless. No one does good, not a single one. Their talk is foul. Like these, how appropriate. Their talk is foul, like the stench from an open grave. Their tongues are filled with lies. Snake venom drips from their lips. Their mouths are full of cursing and bitterness. They rush to commit murder. Destruction and misery always follow them. They don't know where to find peace. They have no fear of God at all. And if that doesn't describe life in Shawshank prison, I don't know what does.
Right.
Because it is a foul place. Even Andy himself, and I love this quote. He had to go to prison to learn how to be a crook.
Yes.
So,
yes.
but that has different context later on down the road. That being said, let's listen to this monologue. I love Morgan Freeman's monologues in this movie. And I actually love that he's kind of part of the framing device.
Yeah.
Because he offers that narrative, that narrator perspective, that third person, looking into the problem.
Right.
And he explains that this is just after Brooks has held a knife to what's the dude's name?
Hank Williams.
Haywood.
There you go.
Haywood, that's it. He's just held a knife to Haywood's throat in the library because
they were going to release him.
Because Brooks' parole had been approved and he was about to be set free.
Yeah.
The thing is, Brooks was afraid to go outside because, well, let's listen to how Morgan Freeman puts it.
Salty language and all.
Yeah.
Brooks ain't no bug. It's just institutionalized.
Institutionalized my ass.
The man's been in here 50 years, Haywood. 50 years. This is all he knows. In here, he's an important man. He's an educated man. Outside, he's nothing. Just a used-up con with arthritis in both hands. Probably couldn't get a library card if you tried. You know what I'm trying to say?
Fred, I do believe you're talking out of your ass.
You believe whatever you want, Floyd. But I'm telling you, these walls are funny. First you hate them, and you get used to them. Enough time passes, you get so you depend on them. That's institutionalized.
Man, how insightful.
Yeah. So like as a picture of being trapped by sin?
Being trapped by sin and living out its effects.
Okay.
I got it typed up right here. He's just been institutionalized. He's been in here for 50 years. This is all he knows. In here, he's an important man. He's an educated man. Outside of this prison, outside of this institution, Brooks is nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and use the Exodus example, like Mr. Darabont so poignantly used already. This life outside the prison, or this whole scenario, life in the prison, life outside the prison, and life in the promised land, which we'll get to later. This completely sets up the pedestal for the Exodus story.
Right.
Because the Hebrews, they were slaves to the Egyptians. They were often like they were treated like the wardens treat the prisoners at Shawshank. The Israelites, they were slaves.
Yep.
And they could not leave until Moses came through and freed them. Thing is, once they were freed, what'd they do?
They wanted to go back.
They wanted to go back.
Right.
They complained. I think it's Numbers 11 that says, once the
it was more than that. They complained over and over and over.
Well, yeah, just
the onions and the leeks and the cucumbers.
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that, you know.
The fish.
Yeah.
We could have had.
Why'd
meat.
you bring us out here to die?
Yeah.
Why
exactly.
does God hate us?
Exactly. Let's see. Just to go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was gonna continue in Romans 3, and get to 19 and 20. Obviously, the law applies to those to whom it was given. For this. For its purpose is to keep people from having excuses and to show that the entire world is guilty before God. For no one can ever be made right with God by doing what the law commands. The law simply shows us how sinful we are. Now, if we understand the workings of the law in this film, it's the prison. It's the literal prison that we see on screen. It's Shawshank.
Right.
And like, there's that quote again. We probably should have clipped it, but Andy says, "I didn't know how to be a crook, or I learned how to be a crook when I
had to
prison.
go to prison and learn how to be a crook."
Yeah.
Yes.
So that just shows how depraved, how low things really are.
Absolutely.
In the prison. Now, once Brooks Hatlin has been set free from this institution, like I said, he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's just like the Israelites coming out of bondage. Life is hard on the outside, and he often wishes to return back just so he can be what he thinks is happy.
Now we're getting into the book of Galatians.
Hey, man, it's everywhere.
Call up Martin Luther. He had a lot of good stuff to say about that.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Now, the unfortunate thing is the burden of life on the outside proved too much for Brooks, as we'll hear in this second clip.
I have trouble sleeping at night. I have bad dreams like I'm falling. I wake up scared. Sometimes it takes me a while to remember where I am. Maybe I should get me a gun and rob the foodway so they'd send me home. I could shoot the manager while I was at it, sort of like a bonus. I guess I'm too old for that sort of nonsense anymore. I don't like it here. I'm tired of being afraid all the time. I've decided not to stay. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss. Not for an old crook like me.
Man, that scene
Yeah.
gets me.
Yeah.
Y'all, Brooks was here. But we've all been there, though. And that's what I think so convicting about this scene. Brooks, he didn't make it to what all these prisoners wanted. You know, they wanted to be free, but they also wanted to live out a full life if they got out, you know, they wanted to have their own version of the promised land.
Yeah.
And Brooks did not make it. The Israelites too did not make it. The only difference between Brooks and the Israelites, though, is that the only difference between Brooks and the Israelites and Red, which we'll just get to right now. See, Red had a promise.
Yeah.
Red had a bona fide solid rock that he could stand on.
Yeah.
He
Or
had,
at least pick up.
He had, I didn't even think about that. That was a good one. Volcanic glass. What are you gonna do? It has nothing to do with the main hayfield.
No.
Okay, so Red's in the same shoes as Brooks. Once Red is released, and I love how this is set up. He goes to the same halfway house.
Yeah.
That Brooks stayed at. He goes to the same supermarket. He has the same job.
Yep.
And he just like Brooks wants to go back.
Yep.
And we'll actually hear that in this third clip.
There's a harsh truth to face. No way I'm gonna make it on the outside. All I do anymore is think of ways to break my parole. So maybe they'd send me back. Terrible thing to live in fear. Brooks Hadlin knew it all too well. All I want is to be back where things make sense, where I won't have to be afraid all the time. Only one thing stops me. A promise I made to Andy.
Just really quick, because Michael, I know this is setting it up for you to bring it home.
Oh, you've been doing it the whole time.
Well, just really quick, just to speak on Darabont's writing skills, the use of repetition that he uses to establish Brooks and Red as in the same predicament. Red repeats a line from Brooks's letter. Brooks said, "I don't like it here. I'm tired of being afraid all the time."
Yeah.
Red says, "All I want is to be back where things make sense, where I won't have to be afraid all the time." That instance of repetition really settles it in for us as the audience, watching Red go through this same situation that we saw earlier, and with someone killing himself.
Yeah.
But like Red says, only one thing stops me. A promise I made to Andy. And it's with this promise that we see Red's ultimate redemption. Because sure, he's been set free from the Shawshank.
Yeah.
Shawshank no longer has any hold on him after 40 years of what was supposed to be a life sentence. Red no longer has those strings holding him down. He's free, but he's still unfulfilled until he gets to fulfilling Andy's promise. And with that, listen to this last clip.
Can we save it?
I knew you wanted to. Okay.
Can we?
Yes. We'll say like because audience, listeners gather around. You knew this is what we would be talking about with the Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
So, Michael, please.
Well, we prepared the same thing basically, and all that my point is going to do is really just take what Brendan just so adequately explained and elucidated to you, the good Christian listener out there. I'm just going to puff it up a little bit. I'm going to just expand it just a little bit. But like Brendan created the origami swan, and I'm just going to tug on both ends and make it fluff up. Okay,
make it flat.
Yeah. But first, I have to share with you, Brendan, the negative that I was first going to talk about. You know, the only thing that I saw at first, and that's the warden.
Don't start.
Okay. When they first get there,
I thought you were going to puff it up, not deflate it.
When we first get there, Andy and his busload of people, the warden comes in and he says something I can't remember exactly. We only have 2 rules here. The first is nobody takes the Lord's name in vain. And then the second is you'll figure out everything else, along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I won't have anybody taking the Lord's name in vain, and he's got his Bible and he's handing out the Bible. And this man is a pious man, what he wants to, project. That taking the Lord's name in vain, just this character is a perfect example of what taking the Lord's name in vain is. It is not saying a bad word, okay? That is a symptom of taking the Lord's name in vain. Taking the Lord's name in vain, well, this is Romans Day, Brendan. This is the book of Romans Day.
Hey, Romans is all about it, though.
Yep. Well, let's go back one chapter from yours and go back to chapter 2.
Okay.
And let's see, starting at verse 17, I'm going to go through this quickly because this is not my point, but you see if you find the warden in here, and every time you do, we'll run this. There's the warden.
Just want to give you the signal.
Yeah. Well, I'll try. I'll see if I can watch you out of the corner of my eye here.
Okay.
And now, if you call yourself a Jew, if you rely on the law and boast in God, if you know his will and approve of what is superior because you are instructed by the law, if you are convinced that you are a guide for the blind, a light for those who are in the dark, an instructor of the foolish. I mean, come on. I'm going to stop pushing that. An instructor of the foolish, a teacher of little children, because you have in the law the embodiment of knowledge and truth. You then who teach others, do you not teach yourself? Oh, man. You who preach against stealing, do you steal, warden? Oh, my goodness. You who say that people should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who abhor idols, do you rob temples? You who boast in the law, do you dishonor God by breaking the law? I could go on. That is taking the Lord's name in vain, because that literally translated, Brendan, is carrying the Lord's name in vain. That is saying, I am a person of God. You're carrying the Lord's name. Just like in our Toy Story episode, Andy's name, not this Andy, but little Andy's name is on the foot of his toys.
Yeah.
Because they belong to him.
Right.
If you have God's name on you and you belong to him and you do all these things, you are taking the name of the Lord in vain. So there's your little Bible lesson on next time somebody says, oh, taking the Lord's name in vain, you can say, that's not actually what that is. That's a bad word and they shouldn't do that. But would you like to know what taking the Lord's name in vain is? And let's make sure that we are not doing that. Right?
Right.
Because it's a lot easier to do than to not, that it's easier to do that than it is to say bad words. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breath. Well, that warden, I mean, and a lot of people, a lot of unbelievers would look and say, oh yeah, typical Christian. And you know what? A lot of them, I mean, guilty.
They're right.
All right, so let's get to some good stuff. Let's get back to Brendan's point and fluff up the wings. If I can just scroll down. All I want to do, Brendan, is just scroll down to my little thing here so I can actually see some of my notes. All right, so I have titled this Andy and Red, Hope versus Hope, or Aspiring to a Better Land. Because Ellis Boyd Red Redding does not understand hope. This is why he has abandoned it. And like Brooks, as we were talking about, he became institutionalized because he abandoned hope. And, well, he never had a proper understanding of hope in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them, Brooks and Red, once freed from the walls of Shawshank prison, they looked for the opportunity to return, much like the Hebrews in the wilderness wanderings longed to go back to Egypt, as we were talking about. They didn't like freedom, or they didn't like this hope, actually, I should say.
Wow.
They didn't like the hope that they had,
Mm-hmm.
which they didn't have a proper hope, and that's where Red is. And so once Red and Brooks are freed, they didn't continue the journey. They stopped right there. They basically stopped right outside the door of the prison, right?
Yeah. Because
All they were bent on was, how do I get right back in? They didn't continue on to a better land. Also, they wouldn't seize the inheritance that was promised to them. Now we're going back to the Hebrews. They wouldn't go in and possess the land that God promised to them. Sent up those spies, and only 2 came back, Caleb and Joshua, saying, no problem. Let's go in. Yeah, it's scary. There's a little bit of scare, but God told us already it's ours. He said it was ours. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants to kill him, right? You can read more about that in the book of Numbers, chapter 13 and 14, and right around there. So that is where that's where Red is. But Andy Dufresne, Andy understands hope. He understands that hope in its true form, that is the way that the New Testament writers and readers understood it, which is, here you go, you ready for some definitions? See if this sticks.
We'll do it.
Confidence, being doubtless,
mm-hmm.
assured. See, none of those things Red or Brooks were.
Mm-mm.
They doubted. They were not restful. They were not. They just wouldn't lay hold of it because they had a bad understanding of the word.
Would you say Brooks and initially Red were distressed?
Oh yes, yeah. But they let that. We all get distressed.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Joshua and Caleb had some distress. Whoa, those guys are big, and I mean they are powerful looking. Look at these guys; they look like warriors.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, God said, and I trust. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. See, our English word "sure" is from Middle English, not Old English. Old English you can't make out heads or tails of. Middle English you can start to see. Oh yeah, that looks kind of like a word.
Yeah,
I'm almost getting what they're saying here.
Mm-hmm.
Beowulf, Middle English. So you'd be looking at Tolkien was a philologist and a lover of I snuck Tolkien in this episode of Middle English. Anyway, and that word, much like many English words of those days, came from a French word, which was sure. So I don't know how to say it, which in turn came from the Latin securus, which means. So here's what the word "sure" means: free from care.
Oh, well, there you go.
Isn't that so? Remember that sure. Being free from care. So hope is being free from care. Was Red free from care? Was Brooks free from care? No. Was Andy free from care?
Oh, Andy so was.
I mean, the whole time he's in prison. That's one of the things that Red kept saying about him. He walks around like he doesn't belong. He's something
with a different posture.
Yes.
He strolled.
Yeah.
He strolled. He
Yeah.
went without a care in the world. Ooh, look at that.
Don't you like that?
Mm.
And I mean, don't we see that on Andy's face when he comes back from the 2 weeks in the hole? What about that? He comes in after playing Mozart part from The Marriage of Figaro, which great opera.
Yeah.
We know that scene. He locks everybody out. He's playing the record over the loudspeaker so everybody can hear it, and it's so beautiful. Red said for that moment, I didn't know what those two Italian ladies were saying or whatever, but for that moment, every man in Shawshank was free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Andy did that for them. And finally, they get him out of there, and you're busted. 2 weeks in the hole, a miserable place. So his first day back, he strolls right into the cafeteria and
hey, look who's here.
Maestro.
Hey. And you couldn't play something good, huh? Hank Williams or something?
They broke the door down before I could take requests.
Was it worth it? 2 weeks in the hole?
Easiest time I ever did.
Was it worth it, Andy? Yeah, that was the easiest time I ever did.
Yep.
And then they're in an uproar over that. Now, what in the world are you talking about? And here's Andy's response. Why was that the easiest? That is the most terrible place you can be in this prison. Why was it so easy?
And Mr. Mozart to keep me company.
So they let you tote that record player down there, huh?
It's in here. In here. That's the beauty of music. They can't get that from you. Haven't you ever felt that way about music?
I played a mean harmonica as a younger man. Lost interest in it, though. Didn't make much sense in here.
Here's where it makes the most sense. You need it so you don't forget.
Forget?
Forget that there are places in the world that aren't made out of stone, that there's something inside that they can't get to, that they can't touch. It's yours.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
And the music was one tool that he used, Brendan, mainly because he had all those pictures, not just the posters in his cell, but the other pictures, and he was concerned with books and everything.
Right.
Why? Because those were tools that he used in order to maintain his hope, which to maintain his air of free from care. It wasn't just an air about him, it was inside of him. And that's one thing that he can use. Well, Red does not understand that, because Red doesn't realize what hope is, what being sure is, what's being doubtless, confident, assured. And his response to that.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. It's got no use on the inside. You better get used to that idea.
Like Brooks did.
Oh, see?
That cut.
Yeah.
That cut deep.
And what Andy is saying is your idea of hope doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's not fastened on anything. It's not anchored by anything. And we know, we've quoted it a million times. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now, faith is being sure.
There it is.
There's the word.
Yep.
Faith is being sure. Faith is is being free from care of what we hope for. We aren't worried about that it's going to happen. We're free from caring about that because we are sure of it. Faith is being sure of what we hope for, being convinced of what we do not see. And I just think that, we've talked about that verse so many times, but in this light, it just takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Now, here's the deal, though. Even though they're at loggerheads, but we know that Red likes. Well, they both like each other a lot. They're good friends. They're close friends.
Yeah.
It's so much so that because of that relationship, Andy is able to disciple Red, and Red doesn't even know it. He doesn't know. All the things that Andy is doing are for a reason and a purpose, because a Christian that has hope isn't going to rest on their laurels.
Nope.
They're going to be doing stuff, and he's always doing and always working, and he is working on Red. He was able to give that reason for the hope that lies within him. Just 1 Peter 3:15 out of the NIV. But in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to anyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect, which Andy does towards Red, right? He's discipling him. And he does that. Hope, give that up. No, I'm not going to, because you don't understand what hope is. I'm going to explain. I'm going to show you what hope is. And by the end of the movie, you're really going to know what hope is.
Just really quick, please. Really quick point. One way to help to always be prepared is to keep your faith strong through faithful works.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's what James says, faith without works is dead.
Yeah. Gotta exercise, use your muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Faith is a muscle. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Michael. Go ahead.
I'm so glad that you pointed it out. And we aren't saying that you do that because to get something, you do it in response.
Yeah.
It's in response. I'm going to do these things. I have this hope. This is the hope that lies within me, and I'm going to explain it to you with gentleness and respect. I'm going to, most importantly, Red, Andy's giving you an example. And he has the confidence, Andy does, he has the confidence, which is hope, that Red will follow him, will follow in hope, in confidence. Now, I want to bring this. Here we go. Let me toss in this this verse here. So not only Romans chapter, well, now we added a couple. So your guys' assignment in your free time is to read Romans chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. At least. Just read Romans.
Just read the whole book.
Yeah, and then go and do Hebrews. Because I'm also drawing a lot from Hebrews chapter 11, but the whole thing, you got to get a running start before you get to chapter 11, right?
Yeah.
So you can have the context of what's going on. But check out this little doozy here, chapter 11, verse 15 through 16 out of the New English translation. In fact, if they had been thinking of the land they had left, who can we apply that to?
Brooks.
Yeah.
And Red.
If they had been thinking of the land they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return. Now, in context, the writer is speaking about Abraham and Sarah and other people in that hall of faith that's going on. But this just fits so well. But as it is, but now they aspire to a better land. That is a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. And that makes me think of Andy and that town in Mexico that he's going to. It's a better land that has been prepared for him. That's where his hope lies. That's what he has been preparing himself for, not resting on his laurels. He's been preparing for that better land because he has aspired to it. That heavenly land. And that's why when Christians that behave like that, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared at that city for them. So getting back on track now. So we're getting to the climax now, and Red has seen the walk. He's seen the walk, and now he understands what that hope is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he responds to that. Well, the instructions, his little treasure map, right? He makes his way to that tree in that field at that brick, that block wall, to find that black obsidian or whatever that is. And what does he find inside? He finds treasure.
Dear Red, if you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further. You remember the name of the town, don't you? I could use a good man to help me get my project on wheels. I'll keep an eye out for you and the chessboard ready. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things. and no good thing ever dies. I will be hoping that this letter finds you, and finds you well. Your friend, Andy.
Andy had confidence that he would find that letter and find it well. And this is the turning point, because it is now, okay, he fulfilled his promise because he loves Andy, it's his friend, but now his eyes have been opened, and now he is going to understand the meaning of hope.
Fort Hancock, Texas, please. I find I'm so excited I can barely sit still or hold a thought in my head. I think it's the excitement only a free man can feel. A free man at the start of a long journey whose conclusion is uncertain. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is as blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope.
And all things that he said that he hoped for all came to pass.
Man. This movie though.
What now you had what do you want to add to that?
I want to reiterate a point that came up in Andy's letter. He says, and you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further.
Yeah.
That right there is Andy's, I would say that's the moment in the letter where Andy's confidence meets Red in his distress.
That was the altar call.
Yes.
It's time now.
Yeah, because Red, as we already established, Red was in the exact same predicament.
That's the pivotal line in the whole movie, isn't it, Brendan?
Yes.
That's it. It all, at least what we got out of the movie, that is the linchpin. It all hangs on that. Come. And then, Red says, I believe, I hope, I have confidence. I'm coming. Oh, wow.
Man, that, because, ooh, okay. Like I was saying, that exactly, that is where up until that point, Red was still walking in faith. Red, for him, the faith had not become sight yet. And even not until he arrives at the beach and he sees Andy working on the boat, and he walks up to him, shakes his hand. That's where Red's faith becomes sight. But before that, Red still had to act on faith.
He did, because it was at that moment, that linchpin moment, getting back to Hebrews chapter 11, verses 15 and 16, but as it is now, Red aspired to a better land. And that is hey, this, Christian, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where your faith puts boots on.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where hope becomes for something like, oh boy, I hope and wish that this might happen. I don't know if it will too. My hope is sure I don't have a care because of it. And so he knows, hey, they're not going to throw up roadblocks for me. I'm going to get over that border.
Not for an old
yeah,
like me.
I'm going to get down, and that Pacific is going to be as blue as I have dreamed. And it was. They show us that in that final shot. It's so beautiful. This is a great movie. Okay, do you want to keep going? Anything else?
I think we've hit it.
Do you think that? Yeah. So we gave people a
double-decker couch
moment.
Yeah.
Do you have a key text?
My key text actually. I mean, we've already made the point, but just to reiterate, my key text would have been Romans 3:23 and 24.
Okay.
Just to go along with the Romans 3, with the Romans everything.
Hey, you're mucking it all up. Now, just say your key text so people can remember this.
I'm getting there.
Don't say the key verse and then add a bunch of stuff after it.
Sorry. Hey, give me a mulligan.
Okay, here we go. Oh, where is it? Give me a mulligan.
So here's the key text, Romans 3. For my point. I did it again. Here's the key text. Don't you touch that button. Okay. Here's the key text. Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And, verse 24, all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption
The Shawshank
that came by Jesus Christ. And now I want to read it in the New Living Translation. That was the NIV.
Okay.
Now let's hear it in the New Living Translation. For everyone has sinned. We all fall short of God's glorious standard.
Yes.
24. Yet God freely and graciously declares that we are righteous. He did this through Christ Jesus when he freed us from the penalty of our sins.
Amen. Amen. Okay, my key text is also Romans, so it should be easy. And listen, this is super. You don't get any easier than this. Romans 5:5. Okay, here is your double-decker couch point. And hope does not disappoint, because the love of God has been poured out in our hearts through the Holy Spirit, the Paraclete, who was given to us. Hope does not disappoint because of the love God has poured out in our hearts through the Holy Spirit who was given to us. Man, hope. It's a beautiful thing. Whenever you're reading hope in the New Testament, know that that is a state of being free from care. You don't have to worry about it. Hope doesn't mean that it's uncertain. It is the exact opposite of the way that we use hope in this day and age. It's the exact opposite. Hope is secure. Hope is sure. Hope is doubtless. Hope is confident. Hope is assured. And hope does not disappoint. Awesome movie. Awesome movie. Anything else? Or comments, piggybacks, editorials, off the wall remarks?
Man, the feels for this movie, having watched it for this reason and now seeing it the whole thing, I love this movie now.
Amen.
And that's it.
Hey,
we got some feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
feedback's the next segment.
I know, that's what I said.
Oh, okay. What do we have? Anything? Or was last episode so terrible because of the technical difficulties and audio faults?
Well, that I don't know. But what I do know is that patron St. Philip left his little comment.
We love patron St. Philip as much as he loves horses.
Anyway.
Okay.
To quote the comment, Michael covered the Prime Directive issue well.
I love Philip.
And I think it's interesting to think that Roddenberry may have included it as a reaction to missionaries.
Tip of the hat to FCC's very own John Carney for that.
There you go. A book I have in my wish list that relates is Would You Baptize an Extraterrestrial? By Guy Consolmagno. That's I'm sorry, I butchered that name.
It's Italiano.
By Guy Consolmagno.
It could even be
Consolmagno.
No, that would be fine.
And Paul Mueller. See, that I can pronounce. Two Vatican astronomers. A Catholic friend of mine highly recommends it. I've heard Brother Guy on a couple of podcasts, and he is a fascinating and engaging person.
I'd like to hear those. So a couple of links, please.
Well, there you go. Also, The Mission, starring Robert De Niro, is a good film to watch. Perhaps a little too on the nose for
the list,
but definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it.
Will do.
And lastly, my boy, Blue Like Jazz is also a movie which was taken off Netflix before I could get to it.
Oh,
that's why I went
is
down
it on
to
Amazon.
I don't know. It probably is. Like I said, I got it from the local movie rental suppository.
Okay.
Wait.
Repository.
Great show, guys. End quote, Philip.
Thank you, Philip. Let us know what you thought of Blue Like Jazz. Brendan talked about it quite a bit at the beginning of the episode. I'd like to hear from you. Philip, we value you, brother. So all the participation.
Now he said he hasn't seen it yet. He said it was taken off Netflix before he could get to it.
Oh,
So that's why I throw that out there. It's available for rent other places.
you know what I get for that?
That is your second one this episode.
I know. I'm still trying to recover from
See,
the
now
last episode.
I don't feel so bad for messing up the key text
I
anymore.
think you should feel bad for refusing to drive into the studio last week.
I do, Michael. Quit bringing it up like that.
Any other feedback?
Stop holding record of my wrongs. No, that's all the feedback.
Oh man. Well, okay. Then I guess you ready for some real news? Roll it. Yeah. Oh, after a long absence, it is time for a Star Wars rundown.
La 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 la.
From Empire Online, 40 years and one day after the release of Star Wars comes Episode 8.
Episode 8, that's the one that's coming out this year? What happened to Episode 7?
May 25th, Brendan. I'm going to clear up all the confusion right now. May 25th of 2017 will mark the 40th anniversary of the release of the greatest film in my life, Star Wars. And then the very next day, Star Wars Episode 8 will hit theaters, and I'll be 7 years old again and sitting in a seat, Lord willing, at the Carmike in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Rian Johnson is writing as well as directing the film that will come out just a year and a half after The Force Awakens, the one that we're waiting for now, right? And that makes it the shortest gap between any two Star Wars movies.
Oh,
but there's more because there's even smaller gaps. They're going to get even smaller, I should say, because the first standalone film directed by Godzilla's Gareth Edwards is coming out December 16th of 2016. So not only do we have a Star Wars movie this Christmas, we have one next Christmas. And then
we'll have one the following spring.
Yes. It's crazy. So anyway, December 16th, 2016. And now it has a title. The first standalone film will be called Rogue One, with the idea coming from John Knoll, an Academy Award-winning visual effects supervisor and chief creative officer at Industrial Light and Magic. The film starts shooting this summer in London, probably at the same set that they've always filmed at.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so Rogue One. Well, the story will most likely deal with Rogue Squadron, which, as Wikipedia describes, was, quote, originally dubbed Rogue Flight and also known as the Rogues. It was an elite Rebel Alliance starfighter squadron founded by Commander Arhul Nara, Luke Skywalker, and Wedge Antilles shortly after the Battle of Yavin, out of Red Squadron. So it was guys from Red Squadron. Red 5 coming out, right? So Rogue,
sure, whatever you say. Sure.
Rogue, I can't go on. Yes, I can. Rogue Squadron played a key role during several engagements in the Galactic Civil War, serving as the primary defense squadron of the Alliance High Command. Sounds pretty way cool to me, as a matter of fact. Special forces, kind of operations and stuff. We'll see what comes out of that. And as an added bonus for those who know who she is, Felicity Jones is the first confirmed cast member of the film.
Oh, do you not know who she is?
No.
Oh, well, her most recent thing includes she was Eddie Redmayne's opposite in The Theory of Everything.
Oh, okay.
So that's her biggest thing out right now.
Okay,
so.
Well, that's probably what I will see her in. Awesome.
Hey, this week in home entertainment, Michael.
Yeah.
2014 was the year of the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of came to a climax with Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Uh-huh. You don't sound like all climactic and stuff.
Michael,
no fanfare is playing or anything.
No, because it wasn't that good of a movie.
What? It had
Michael,
Christian Bale in it.
I know.
Moses.
I know.
I haven't been able to say that in a while.
I know. It feels weird. I know, Michael, but here's the thing. Like I said, this week in home entertainment,
yeah,
you will be able to to buy that on DVD.
Well, I want to.
Okay, well, you go ahead.
No, will I want to? Not well.
I would go, and you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I would go ahead
and rent it. Okay.
That way you can see it and then decide for yourself.
Okay.
Next up,
yes,
is The Penguins of Madagascar.
I want to see it. I love penguins.
Automatically. And I love the Madagascar movies.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. That's my new, see, I don't argue with, I don't engage in Christian arguments anymore. I just smile and wave.
And one last thing, and this one's actually, it kind of slipped in under the radar.
What? Oh, goodness. Under the radar. Where is that? I got too many things here.
A film called Serena.
Sabrina?
No. Serena.
Bewitched. The cousin. Sam's cousin.
No. This is a different. It's a different thing entirely.
Okay, what is this?
Okay, this is a picture that has been produced by Magnolia Studios. It stars, as if every movie wants to do now, Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
I like how you say that. Yes, as every movie wants to do now.
Yeah. And actually, this right now, this is on demand through iTunes.
Okay.
I believe exclusively through iTunes. The thing is, it hasn't even been put out in theaters yet, and it will not be in theaters until March 29th.
Well,
so they're doing a preview on demand release of it.
Yeah, that's starting to become a trend.
Yeah, the first movie that I've seen do that was Horns with D-Rad. You know,
well, these filmmakers, they get nervous and so they start telling all the the directors and stuff to
not tell anyone else of your burstings.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Michael, that I've seen Serena.
Okay.
I went ahead and saw it. It's pretty good. If you're a fan of the Southern Gothic tradition style, I'm talking Flannery O'Connor, William Faulkner. If you're a fan of that style, you're gonna love this movie.
Okay.
Because it's all about that. The story follows Mr. Pemberton, played by Bradley Cooper. He is a logging industry mogul, and he marries this woman named Serena. And throughout the story, we learn Serena's backstory, how industrious she is. Any Atlas Shrugged fans, Serena is like Dagny Taggart. She's industrious. She's always about business.
Yeah.
And she and therefore they both let business get in the way of their marriage, to the point where Bradley Cooper almost kills one of his best friends because she said so.
Oh, you know what? I did see the preview for this.
And from that moment, it just gets deeper and darker.
Okay. Yep. I saw the preview.
It's one of those artsy fartsy films, It's really good.
It's too big for its own britches.
Yeah. their performances as actors, it's really good and it's really cool.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of cool effects. I'm just telling you, the story is going to get dark.
All right.
So there
okay.
you go.
Well, how about a quick rundown of the articles posted on the Finding Christ in Cinema Facebook page this past week at facebook.com/Christ in Cinema.
Disney has announced Frozen 2.
Frozen to what?
No, the sequel to.
Oh, okay.
Frozen.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought there was more.
I know, that was my response too. Anyway, hey, moving on. Bryan Cranston and Diane Kruger in a new 80s undercover thriller, The Infiltrator.
Huh. Okay. Keep our eye on that, huh?
Yeah.
That's your Breaking Bad guy, right?
Yes, it is.
That's my Godzilla guy.
It must be a Disney News Day.
Yes. We did have a big Disney News Day the other day.
Yeah. Tron Legacy sequel is rumored to be shooting in Vancouver.
Yes, and that is supposed to start, I think, in the fall.
Now, I didn't read the article, but will this star anybody?
We only know of one returning person, and it wasn't Jeff Bridges that they named. So, but it doesn't mean he's not in it, but because he's got to be able to use his new horse.
Anyway,
Yeah.
hey, so
Hey, let me lay my new voice on you. You're right. Okay, go ahead.
Morgan Freeman. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, now Michael, when you posted this, I had to tell everyone around me, and I got this reaction.
Oh, really? Got Scooby Doo, huh?
Well, I was thinking more Tim Allen from Home Improvement, but you didn't have TV during that day, so
Yeah.
Tim Burton to direct.
Oh,
yes. Tim
Continue.
Burton to direct the live action version of Dumbo.
And apparently, it's not a joke. This is no joke.
I'm still gonna laugh.
So I mean, and
I'm
it's
still gonna
so it's
laugh.
his return to Disney after I mean, really creating a whole new genre with Alice in Wonderland, which we covered on Finding Christ in Cinema. That was a good episode. Go back and find that episode, but I don't know what number it is, but it's on the website.
It's back there.
It is.
That I just wonder where Johnny Depp's gonna pop up.
Dumbo.
Oh, stop it.
So live action with CG, obviously, and then a bunch of creepy clowns and circus performers and whatnot. And I don't know. Please surprise me.
Anyway, moving on. Look out 2016. Zoolander sequel is officially coming for you. What? You can't boo Zoolander?
Boolander.
You can't boo
It's
Lander?
Boolander.
You can't do that. Oh, that was, and it's funny how it actually happened. They Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, they actually went to an official fashion show somewhere, and then dressed up as Zoolander and Hansel, and it was pretty funny. Oh now also I heard someone else was in the crowd. The guy that played Gimli, John Rhys Davies. Yeah. He was in the crowd, and when Zoolander or when Ben Stiller walked by him, he said, "That's my wee lad Gimli."
Yay, I was hoping he did.
Hey, new Tomorrowland trailer arrives, or has arrived. By now, it has arrived, and it looks like a lot of fun.
It did until
Michael, you gotta explain this. Michael.
Okay, right before the show, I'm going through my RSS feeds and making sure there's nothing that we're going to miss in the news rundown. And somebody posts a I don't know if it was Japanese version or some Asian country version of the trailer. It says with extra stuff in it, extra footage. So yeah, we're gonna watch that, and then all of a sudden, I want to love this movie. This movie looks fun. I want to like it. Please make me like it. That extra footage got real goofy. It's really.
How do you mean, Michael?
Well, you put it best by saying that's very meta. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are scenes in Disneyland in it's a small world and a trapdoor opening and this, the boat going down into wherever this and Tomorrowland isn't in the future. Well, you know what? I ought to do this. No, not that. That's what I ought to do.
There you go.
Spoiler alerts. Tomorrowland is not in the future. It's Tomorrowland.
It's
which is just a front. You mean the place at Disneyland? Oh, that's just been a front.
That's just a cover up.
Yeah, cover up.
Because that's what they say in the trailer. Oh, that attraction Disneyland. That's just the cover up.
Oh my goodness.
And it kind of ruined it.
It kind of did. It kind of took it into a direction that I did not anticipate, and I don't like the taste in my mouth. So let's move on.
Well, there you go. Hey, new trailer for Disney Pixar's Inside Out.
Oh, that was a great trailer. Oh man, that's one of my most anticipated movies amongst many others. But this looks like, I mean, absolute. At the very least, it's a big hit. I'm calling it now. Called it. Big hit.
You calling it
another
now?
Pixar big hit.
I think it's gonna be cool. I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah.
Next up, and this week we tried something different, or at least I did. Michael was left unawares. I told you that the Sunset Limited was on the Monday movie review.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did an earlier pre-screening review, kind of, sort of, on Letterboxd.com.
Oh, you started to use that?
I've
Patron
started.
St. Philip told us about that.
Yes, on episode 43, I believe.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I really do. It's really cool.
Do I need an account?
Yeah. I'd go ahead and get one.
All right.
You can follow me right now. It's the same as my Twitter handle, Levi the Believer on Letterboxd.com, and on the Facebook, I posted my quick little Letterboxd review on that. Hey, Mikhail Bjorn Persbrandt.
The guy who played Bjorn for a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
In the Hobbit trilogy.
Well, he should have had.
This is big news. I'm super excited about this.
He travels to King Arthur's court.
Yes.
And hopefully he will get more screen time than in the Hobbit.
Yes, at the very least more than what they did in the third one. So yeah, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur's Court, which is supposed to be a 6-part series. I think. I know it's at least 6-part, but they're ramping up. I mean, they're starting to release set pictures, like ones you can't really see what's going on or what have you. But
right.
I am, we know we've talked about 2 actors now. This is the second one that's attached to it. He is rumored maybe he's going to be playing some kind of a Viking kind of a bad guy. I don't know. I have big hopes for the King Arthur series.
To wrap it up,
please.
This is something that happened.
Please wrap it up.
Something that happened right after we recorded Thursday.
What?
Well, actually, it happened Friday morning. Harrison Ford.
Oh yes, the big plane crash. So I'm editing audio up here because I had to doctor up last episode. It's the first one that we've had to do any real editing in.
Oh no, it happened that Thursday night, didn't it? Or it happened.
Did.
Yeah.
My wife came upstairs, pokes her head around the corner. Did you hear about Harrison Ford? I mean, with this look on her face, I'm like, no. So, plane crash, critical condition. Oh man! And then by the time I get downstairs, I'm talking with her, and I look on Twitter. Oh well, within the span of 20 minutes, it went from critical to severe to fair to pretty okay.
Yeah. Well, the headline on Facebook says Harrison Han Solo Ford injured in single-engine plane crash. Dad is okay, battered, but okay. Tweets son.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, his son tweeted it. He would be one to know.
Yeah.
So there. Yep. So he was battered. I think he broke one of his arms.
Yeah. Got some bumps on his noggin.
Yeah.
Peter Mayhew. Is it Peter Mayhew? Chewbacca.
Yeah, I think so.
He tweeted out. Oh, everybody. Some great tweets regarding that accident, but thankfully he's okay. Yeah, he has an older plane, like some kind of an antique plane, and the engine died or whatever. He was able to land it on a golf course. Nobody got in.
Yeah,
nobody
on a
got
golf
killed.
course, yeah.
And so anyway, we should still be able to see that Han Solo origin film or standalone film, hopefully in the near future. They better do that quick. You would think that the guy that, like I told Shelley, actors, you have no business flying planes. Okay, there are people that do that for a living. Don't go out flying planes. What? Don't go base jumping. Don't skydive. Don't do any of that stuff. You got a job that people rely on. End of rant.
And there you go.
And that is the end of our quick rundown of the articles posted on the Finding Christ in Cinema Facebook page this past week at facebook.com/Christ in Cinema. The lightning round. Is it going to be lightning-y? This show is the eternal show, Finding Christ in Cinema. I haven't done a lightning round in a million years, and I am going to do one now.
Hey, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, years ago, I got this product called it's called the Word of Promise. If you're watching on the video, here it is. And this is a 20 CD audio Bible set, and it stars people like Marissa Tomei, Michael York, Richard Dreyfuss as Moses, Stacy Keach as Paul, Louis Gossett Jr. as John. Who else does it have on here? Terrence Stamp, Lou Diamond Phillips, John Hurd.
Well, you missed the big one though.
Who
plays Jesus?
Well, that is the big one. Jim Caviezel.
You didn't say it.
I know. I was saving it.
Oh, okay.
I was saving that for the last. I
thought you would have started it.
And the Passion's very own Jim Caviezel. But anyway,
well, hey, there you said it. I'm sorry, I trampled on your thing.
No, that's okay. You're doing fine. This is a team effort here, anyhow. And so I started transferring this the CDs onto my computer so that I can listen to them wherever, because I don't even know if I have a CD player anywhere. But anyway, so it is, I mean, it's audio theater. It's based on, well, it's not based on, it is the New King James Version, which I kind of wish it wasn't, because that's like one of my least favorites. But do you want to look at that?
Oh yeah,
You're eyeballing that over there. But
no, I was eyeballing the multiphonic sound system that you have to the left of you.
Yeah,
I thought that would have a CD player on it.
No.
Are you serious?
Let me give you a little clip of this.
Hey,
You want to hear a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah.
This is actually from Romans chapter 5 here today. A little bit of what I may have already read. Let's see what it says here. If I can get this to go ahead and play. Go ahead and play. Hello. Brendan, why? I'm pressing play.
I know. I see you pressing play.
You would think that it would play. And watch. So now I pressed it, and there's going to be a long delay. And then and before we know it.
See, this is why these episodes are so long now.
Because things aren't working. You know why? It's because the silly Google Docs is taking up all of my RAM on my computer. My computer doesn't know what to do. Oh, well, no audio sample for you today.
Oh, man, I was looking forward to it.
So you can find this. There's apps, Word of Promise apps. It's available as an audio Bible or an audio book. And there's the Old Testament, the New Testament is available, all kinds of good stuff. So the Word of Promise, that is my lightning round, and I apologize that I couldn't play you SoundCloud. I need new computers here in the studio, man. That's all there is to it.
Well, hey,
you got one?
Oh yeah, I got one.
Okay.
So I wanted to mention this in the updates at the beginning of the show, but I figured it might go best during the lightning round because this is where I've discussed Lecrae. And this is where I'm going to discuss my further venturing into Christian hip hop.
You're a rap star now.
Hey, you know, just really quick, I am becoming more and more convinced that hip hop is the music of revolution.
Whoa.
And Michael, I know that's bold talk.
They say you want a revolution.
See, that's bold talk because I know you're
becoming audacious like me.
Bombastic
Bombastic even.
Oh, bold statements. Here we go. So next up, I took my cue from Lecrae. He had another fellow rapper on his Anomaly album, Andy Mineo. Say it with me.
Sal Mineo.
No, Mineo.
Yeah.
Say it with me.
Okay.
Mineo. There you go. That's actually a part of a song. Because he talks about DJs mispronouncing his name.
So he was the guy he co-starred in Rebel Without a Cause. He was James Dean's sidekick.
Different guy.
Oh, okay.
Now this guy, he's just another Christian rapper.
Okay.
His latest EP is called Neverland. Not an allusion, well, kind of an allusion to Peter Pan, but more so because he's so up with God that he'll never land.
Oh,
you get it.
Oh, a little pun.
And the title track is a really good track. There's another track on there called You Can't Stop Me. And his main point in that song, I can't stop me, so how can you stop me? Second of all, well, that's actually the second point. The first point is the only thing I'm scared of is God, and he's on my side. So very choice material.
Yes.
So definitely check it out.
Nice. That sounds pretty uplifting and encouraging and armoring, actually, huh?
Yeah.
Giving some Christians some boots to put on.
Some hip hop boots.
I like that. Well, okay, well, there you go. There's our lightning rounds. It's pretty. I'm just sad right now.
Why?
I'm very sad.
Why?
Because I couldn't play my audio clip. I had it all set up and everything, and it didn't do anything.
Oh, Michael, I think I know what can get you out of your funk.
What's that?
We got to ask the audience what Christian themes they found in the Shawshank Redemption.
There's a lot.
If you're like my friend Josh, who patronized me for not seeing the most gospel in movie ever.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what themes have you found in the Shawshank Redemption. And hey, we're gonna read it out loud on the show. We'll give you credit.
Absolutely. You get co-producer credit. And what's more, maybe you can't find anything. Did we at least redeem the film for Christ?
I think we did.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use that now. Thank you. We'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Taking it back for Christ. I like it. Okay, Brendan, what's coming up next episode? Episode number 50, the Jubilee episode.
Do the echo thing.
Oh, okay.
The Jubilee.
That's my shofar.
That was pretty
Did
good.
you like that?
That was pretty good.
Wow.
Okay, and guys, we're going to be.
Does that make up for me not having my sound clips? for
I
the
think it
audio?
does.
Okay.
See, I, along with the audience, we're not expecting you to make up for the. You took it upon yourself. Hey, so next week.
Felt obligated.
Next week is the Jubilee episode number 50. We're going to be talking the Avengers.
Yes.
Along with GCTN's very own, the Theonauts.
Give them proper.
Hey, do it.
The Theonauts. Yeah, it's been a long time since we had them on.
Yeah, and it's actually upon Jeremiah's prodding that we started reviewing
Marvel movies. And now we can't stop.
I know. And hey, we're also doing this to get ready for the sequel, Age of Ultron.
Oh man, did you watch the new trailer yet?
No, I'm just gonna wait for the movie.
Well, you know what?
So I can actually see new footage and not just recycled footage.
Come back next week, folks, and join us along with the Theonauts. If all things work out proper, we'll be here live in the GCT Network studio. We're here each Thursday, Lord willing, at around 3 p.m. Central Time. Join us for audio and video, and especially the chat room, using the chat room and the players at gctnetwork.com/live. Finding Christ in Cinema is part of the Great Commission Transmission Network, using new media and social networking to equip and encourage you to go into all the world and proclaim the good news to everyone. To find out more and to partner with us, visit us at gctnetwork.com/donate. For all things Christ in Cinema, Finding Christ in Cinema's official website is christincinema.com. Over there, you can get all of our podcast episodes. You can download them and keep them on your own. You can find ways to subscribe to the podcast. You can read all of Brendan's Monday movie reviews. You can find links to the other social networks that we are a part of, and all kinds of just general,
Well-mannered frivolity.
Thank you, Professor McGonagall. You said it best. Over there at christincinema.com, or you can shoot us email, fcc@gctnetwork.com.
Now, maybe email's a little antiquated for you. And you need something, a little less like falafel.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
If you want to call us in on the voice line, you can call us in at 507-407-GCTN. Now,
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Amen. Now, if that phone number does not work for you, you can try our other voice line at 507-407-4286.
Sentimental hogwash.
Believe me, Mr. Potter, I know. Now, let's say you want to listen to the podcast.
Yes.
The good old true hi-fi podcast. You can search for us at iTunes, search for us at Stitcher, and search for us at TuneIn Radio. Just search them all for Finding Christ in Cinema.
I don't understand.
And for all the shows we produce here at the Great Commission Transmission Network, including the Theonauts, get over to the official website at gctnetwork.com. Mr. Brendan Taylor, anything else?
Morgan Freeman.
And that is a wrap.
Witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational
Double-decker couch. That's just as fascinating as the first 89 times you told me that.
Ghastly.
The haircut to it.
Bumbling band of baboons.
Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes.
Moron.
Potatoes.
It's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
What a bunch of hippy-dippy baloney.
You are a sad, strange little man.
That's just as fascinating as the first 89 times you told me that.
Potatoes.
That's just as fascinating as the first 89 times you told me that.
Potatoes.
That's just as fascinating as the first 89 times you told me that.
Potatoes.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this. We'll do this, put these room mics up, and do that.
Okay, let me type up this, record
Yeah.
the intro, and then we'll do those voiceovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second longest episode ever.
Hey. On this episode of FCC, we travel through 500 yards. Oh no, we can't do that.
Oh, what's that old spiritual 500 miles?
Huh?
What's that old spiritual 500 miles?
I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more.
Is that it?
No, that's the Talking Heads.
Oh,
I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk.
They don't do old spiritual stuff.
No. They could.
Yeah. So Annie Lennox, she could sing whatever she wants.
Let's see.
Tears up my computer. There we go. And bada bing. Are you writing the thing?
Oh, I'm thinking of the intro.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm thinking of how to get in there. Get in there! Let's see.
We talk about stuff.
We can't. I was gonna say, we kill our wife and the lover she's with.
No,
us.
no,
Yeah,
no,
we
no.
can't do that. No. Let's see.
So how about everybody in here is innocent? Something to play on that one. No.
We're innocent just like everyone else.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
The Theonauts.
No, it's not. It's
I know.
not.
See, if you say it real fast, it sounds like Theosnots. sorry, guys. It's not. It's really not. It's not. It's not. Okay. Is it Theo or not? Shelley liked that one.
The Theonauts tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar.
They're the Theonauts. They're the Theonauts. Someone may. Not. Snot. Theosnots. Sun will come out. Somebody stop it. Oh, we got to put Noah. Bump that up top of the list. Do you want to do that before we do Mockingjay? I still have to watch First Planet of the Apes.
I would, regarding Noah, I would rather you watch it first.
To see if we should do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
maybe this weekend I'll be able to get to it.
Because I mean, it would be the first retelling of a Bible story that we actually do,
which would be novel. So I mean,
well, it would be novel, but we've stayed away from it for a purpose,
yeah,
for a reason, and
right,
you know,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that opens up a whole can of. Did you type in the thing? Am I?
I'm sorry.
Oh no. I distracted you. I know. I'm used to that. Everybody tells me that. Okay, so that went to Mixler. Somebody actually did listen on Mixler. Still at me $10.
Okay.
Something. There's always something. Who's out there? Who's out there? Is that it? We're innocent just like everyone else as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Can it help us understand hope like Andy Dufresne? How about just like Andy Dufresne? Or understand hope like, oh, I'm glad you capitalized it. Or understand hope like Andy Dufresne does. What do you think? What do you think sounds better? Or in the same way as Andy Dufresne? Well, let me see. Can it help us understand hope just like Andy Dufresne?
I kind of want Dufresne to be the last thing of the question, so we can it help us understand hope in the same way
as Andy Dufresne?
Yeah.
Okay, do that. I like that better. Because although you and I know exactly what we mean, somebody who hasn't heard the and if you are still watching this video after all this time, over 2 hours, we're almost done with you. Now you're just seeing what goes on after the show, which is consists of recording the intro. That's the only thing that that's the only editing that I do.
It's funny how we record the show first and then record the intro.
Well, we got to know exactly what,
Yeah. Okay. Learn from Brooks, Red, and institution of sin can help us understand hope in the same way as everything. All that and more they're doing.
On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we're innocent. We're innocent, just like everyone else, as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin. Can it help us understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? I like it. This is a good intro.
Would weird sound better if we are?
Well, we are is proper. I mean, you're really not supposed to use contractions. Yeah. We are innocent just like everyone else. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. Finding Christ in Cinema, episode number 49, introduction, take 1. On this episode of no, that was too hard. Hey, recording here. Take 2. On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we are innocent just like everyone else as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Can it help us to understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? All that and more in 3, 2, 1. I added a word. Help us to understand hope. Is that okay?
Does it need to be to understand? Because I
don't know. To help us understand. No, it doesn't need to be, I don't guess. Let me try take 3. On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we are innocent just like everyone else as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Can it help us understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? All that and more in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, but we got to have the 2 in there because if you read it that way, can it help us understand hope in the same way as we understand Andy Dufresne? Can it help us to understand? I think so. Okay, so take 4.
Can it help us understand hope just as Andy Dufresne understands it?
Yeah, but you wanted Andy Dufresne. No.
If it'll sound better with something after.
Can it help us to understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? I think that's fine. I think so.
Okay.
Take 4. On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we are innocent just like everyone else as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Can it help us to understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? All that and more in 3, 2, 1. Let me do one more just for good measure. Take 5. On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we are... No, take 5 again. That was a mulligan. I got a mulligan there. On this episode of Finding Christ in Cinema, we are innocent just like everyone else as we look for Christian themes in the Shawshank Redemption. What can we learn from Brooks, Red, and the institution of sin? Can it help us to understand hope in the same way as Andy Dufresne? All that and more in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, close that. Let's go ahead and... Let's see, I don't want to be here. All right, let's go ahead and end this. Stop this broadcast. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. What? How long has it been? A long time. Thanks for watching. Let me turn on my microphone. Thanks for watching, and we're here every Thursday, Lord willing, 3 p.m. Central Time for Finding Christ in Cinema and Louis Prima. Yeah, that's his all-instrumental album right there.
Oh.
That's a good album.
Well, I know it's probably a good album. I just like his voice.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that classic voice.
Oh, the best. Say bye.
Bye.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Oh, my goodness.